Hello and welcome. You're here with me, Charlie Tumbler. We're in DCS, we're in our SU-25T, which is one of the free aircraft, and we're doing a playthrough of a mission called Airfield Surprise. Just got the aircraft paused, so let me just jump inside and unpause it. And then we'll go on a quick map and we'll just talk about what the mission is. So we are Dodge 101 and Dodge 12. We're a pair of SU-25s from an indeterminate country. There's growing tension between ourselves and the northern country, and we have to go and do an attack on this airfield before they realise what's going on. The mission route, if I can bring it up here, we'll follow the waypoints low level to waypoint 4, and at that point we'll pop up and get ready for an attack. Waypoint 5 is the main target, and along here we've got 8 helicopters. We need to kill at least 6 of those, and then in this area, or set up in this area, is 3 big hangars and some fuel storage. If we kill all 3 hangars, or if we kill 2 hangars and at least one of the fuel, then that's the secondary mission. The helicopters are the primary. Defending the area, we know that there's a AAA, a ZSU-23 on this dispersal, and there's another one I think on this dispersal. I'll show you the kneeboard in a minute that has that information. Defending the airfield, there's also a QRA aircraft which is parked in their QRA slot 31. It's an F5, and we're monitoring their radio frequency, so we'll get a message from HQ if they find out if this aircraft is moving. But we might be able to get him on the ground. He might taxi down this way, or he might taxi up, which will give us a bit more time, but we'll see. And then once we finish that, we head back out over the border here to waypoint 6, and then hopefully relax a bit as we come down. Now if the QRA aircraft does get airborne and chase us and it's a bit of a problem, what we can maybe do if we can't defeat it is we have an SA-8 battery here, 3 guns or 3 launchers, and we might be able to lure him into range between waypoint 7 and 8. That will help, but hopefully we'll get him on the ground and he won't be a problem. Also in the air we've got Ford 301 and 32. They're just at the end of the runway now and they're getting airborne. They're off to do a secret mission somewhere off to the west. And we have Trash 71, which is a Huey. He's coming inbound and he's going to be landing. And these aircraft, what I am going to do with this is part of a series of 4 missions, I think, where we're going to see what Dodge is doing. We're going to see what Ford is up to, and then there'll be another mission for the Huey later, because I like flying all those planes. So let's get airborne. Unpause it. And we may hear Ford getting airborne now, but let's get this aircraft started. So right shift and L, right shift and R, right shift and home, and then we just need to wait for those lights to go out. And we should see Ford getting past us. There's also, we've got some L-39s here as well, so maybe the 4th mission is an L-39 mission. It's a small contained conflict with 2 very small countries that don't have a lot of military. Okay, so they're getting airborne. Now if you notice, they came from right at the end of the runway and they've just got airborne at the midsection.
Ford 3, airborne.
So you need about 1,300 meters-ish to get airborne with this payload. From that intersection to the end of the runway, if we look here, so they got airborne from here. Well, they started taxiing from here and they got airborne by the midpoint. We could, or I could, enter the midpoint and should get airborne by the end here. It's actually longer from there to there. The problem I have is Dodge 12. He's AI. He is going to get he's going to go in. He will taxi all the way to the end and get airborne. So what I'll do is when I get airborne, I'll just orbit around the airfield until he gets airborne.
Ford 3, passing waypoint 1 at 2,500.
Okay, those lights are out. So let's go. Easy comms is on because there's a Flaming Cliffs aircraft, so it will automatically trigger things like taxi instructions. Let's just zoom in a little bit.
Clear to taxi to runway 10.
So what I will do is, you can get airborne straight ahead, but I'm going to just taxi up a little bit.
2, rolling.
Cool, 2 is rolling, and then I'll turn around again, and then that way we'll get airborne. Well, I find with this aircraft, if you force it into the air, it causes lots of problems with things like the HUD alignment, weirdly, and you can also do weird stuff to your tyres. So we'll get airborne sensibly, but we'll do a relatively fast taxi. Like I said, if you're feeling brave, just get airborne from here. That runway looks very short from here, but it is actually about 1,500 meters, which is 200 meters spare.
Dodge 1, unable to clear for takeoff.
But we don't need a lot of runway. I'm not going to go all the way to the end.
You are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 717.90.
Okay, that should be enough. Definitely plenty there. Just slow it down. And whip it around. That's the low stall speed warning, which is pointless while we're on the ground. So we didn't taxi very far up, but it should be enough to make a difference. What I'll do is I'll put myself into en route mode, and I'll set the waypoint to waypoint 1, and Wheel brakes on, power up, wait for the engine to kick in, and off we go. Looking at the speed up here, at about, that's the top left number here, when it gets to about 260-ish I'm going to start pulling back, and then I'm just going to try and get my wheels up before I hit 300, or close to 300, and that way it won't damage it, but we'll check and we'll see when we get airborne. So we're passing 230 now, 240, I can start pulling back on the joystick. I'm pulling fully back, trying not to overcook it, get those wheels up, and we're up in the air, and let's have a look. Yep, that's nice and clean, that's good. So I'm going to be quiet for about a minute.
You are listening to the National News Network. Our top story this hour is the breakdown of the latest round of talks with our northern neighbor. Just moments ago, politicians from both countries stormed out of the latest round of negotiations that were aimed at reducing the growing tension. A video from inside the meeting rooms shows several politicians throwing punches and fighting with each other as the arguments became heated. With these talks coming to a dramatic end, it seems almost inevitable that military action will soon follow. Stay tuned to the National News Network for live updates.
There we go. So it looks like our countries are almost officially at war as it stands. So that's Trash 71. That's the Huey helicopter coming in, delivering a VIP. And like I said, I will write a mission that is will explain what's going on with that guy and why he's important. My wingman there, just coming up to the skid marks on the tarmac, so he shouldn't be too much longer before he gets airborne. Now you can just go straight to the target and not wait for your wingman. You can practically, if you do a really fast scramble, you can almost be bombing before he gets airborne. But I'm just going to let him come with me because he will help with the air defences, and he's also going to help if that F5 does get airborne. He will at least get in the way or fire some shots. Now weapon-wise, we have got two Sidewinders, or two AA9s I think. They're not great, but if I get on his 6, then we should be okay. And then we see we've got matching sides here.
One is RTB at 2,500.
That's Trash 71 there. So we've got four rocket pods altogether, each with 32 rockets, and we've got 4 500 kg bombs. And what I'm going to do is I'll drop the bombs first, because what I've discovered with practice is if you're firing all the rockets, what tends to happen is when you fire the last rocket, it goes straight to the bombs, and you end up dropping those by accident, and that is a bit of a pain. And as soon as we get en route, what I'll do is I'll bring up the kneeboard, and we'll see what's the actual mission is. So Trash is in the air there, and we've got my wingman is still trundling down to the end of the runway. We've got plenty of fuel though. We've got 2,700 kgs, should be able to land even with a couple of bombing runs and things. We will probably have about 1,000 kg spare, maybe 750, something like that, but certainly plenty. And this should be the last stop. What I'll do is I'll cut across, and then it'll make it easier for him to form up. And what we can see up here is the top right is the recommended altitude, or what the mission planner altitude is 250 meters, and the top left is what the recommended speed for that waypoint is. They're quite low initially. It's because it's designed for the wingman to catch up, but as soon as he is tucked in, what we'll do is we'll speed up. So he should be getting ready to go. Yeah, he's just lining up on the end of the runway. Look outside. That's me, that's him. He's trundling down the runway. So we'll drop in and we'll get just slightly ahead of him, and hopefully that'll stop him taking a big turn to try and rejoin. But we can't always guarantee with the AI that he'll do the sensible thing. Try not to blast the helicopter out of the sky with our wake. It's just a high-speed stall warning. Okay, he's wheels up. If I can get ahead of him, he might not turn, but I don't think I'm going to be fast enough. Yeah, he'll do a right-hand turn, I think, and then try and form up behind me. So what I'll do is I'll cut the power a little bit out there, and we'll just head en route. Yeah, not quite Okay, well he'll catch up, no dramas. So we're heading to waypoint 1, and we're going for that where that green arrow is, so it's pretty much straight ahead. We've got 4.1 kilometers to go, and then we're going to be turning off to the left and following the route. And once we go towards waypoint 2, I'll bring up the kneeboards. It should automatically change. From waypoint 1, you see the 1 on the bottom right there. That will change to waypoint 2 any second now, and what we'll see is this will change. The white and the green arrows will jump off to the left because we're heading off that way. And again, it says 250 meters. We're actually at 72 meters. It's a little bit low. Let's keep a look out the window. Okay, we're getting to that waypoint. It should chop. There we go. It's changed. So we'll bring it around to the left. This will definitely bleed the speed off as well, and he should be able to catch up. I do want him quite close. Certainly by the time we get to waypoint 4, I'd like him sorted out. I'll just put a little bit more power in. What I'm doing is I'm going to put the autopilot on for attitude hold, and that way I know we should be safe getting over that hill which is ahead of us. So let me just make sure the aircraft is climbing, which is this number here. That's how many meters per second we're climbing, so we know that we're safe if we put it like that. Give it a bit more power, and then attitude hold, which is a switch I've got on here. There we go. Great. Right, so right shift and K brings up the knee pad, and we've got this standard one, but if we cycle through, see the one that I've added for this mission. So title page, and then we've got the one-page quick brief. So if you don't like reading lots of things, just read that. That tells you what you need to do. And we have the map that shows us where we're going. So we're going up towards waypoint 5 and come back down again. Then we have a little bit of target recon and a close-up picture of the things that we need to hit. So that's the hangars and the fuel. And then more information for those who like a little bit more detail. It tells you how we're going to do it. Lets you know who our friendly forces are, what the enemy forces are. The airfield ID we'll talk about when we're coming home, but Belton Airfield is 21. And then this is how we win. For people who like scoring systems, you can ignore this if you don't care, but if we blow up 6 out of the 8 helicopters, then that's the primary mission complete, we get 50 points. If we destroy 2 of the hangars and some of the fuel, or if we destroy all 3 hangars, then that's the secondary, that's 25 points. We get 20 points for knocking out the QRA aircraft, or however he is destroyed, that's 20 points. And if we land back safely anywhere on the main dispersal, we get 5 points. And then there's penalties, obviously, if we lose or if a wingman gets shot down. And there's a grading at the bottom there from mission success to a glorious success, basically. And that's that. So while I've rabbited on, the plane has climbed quite high. So what I'm doing is I'm going to turn off the autopilot before I try and control the aircraft. And we'll bring it down. And cool. Dodge just tucked in as well. So let's cut the power and get this aircraft back on track. Now we are way off course here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select waypoint 3. And then we could head on back to where we need to go. If you've come from Microsoft Flight Simulator, then these 2 arrows will make a lot of sense, but if you've come from something like IL-2, Great Battles, they're a bit weird. And what it's doing is the green arrow, the long one that goes right to the edge here, it kind of looks very white at the moment because of the glare from the sun, but that's pointing directly to the target. And what the white double arrow is doing is that's a corridor, and that's showing what the planned route should be, so where I should be versus a direct heading. So I could be, like now, I'm pointing right at the target, like so, but I'm ever so slightly to the left of where I need to be, and that might make more sense. Let me just pause it a second. Just very quickly look. So what it's saying is the white bit is if I was flying directly from waypoint 2 to waypoint 3 the way it was planned, then I should be inside the white arrow. And then because I'm not exactly right, so I'm slightly off to the right in this instance, what I should be doing is positioning a little bit more to the left to bring it up and bring it back on track. And that'll make more sense when you go to waypoint 3. You'll see it should then both will line up again because I'm pointing straight down this yellow line that I should be, and I'm also pointing directly at the target. Should maybe do like a navigation tutorial video for the Flaming Cliffs aircraft, because once you get it, it's really useful. Particularly if you've got a mission that's quite complicated and you need to follow a route to avoid SAMs. But for this, it's not quite so important. So we're almost back on track with waypoint 3. We're speeding up now. I'm ignoring the speed. It should the program. Well, it's programmed to write 450 knots, but I'm actually doing 620. And I'm turning. So if I turn quickly, then I'm along the proper track and the proper heading. And if I just pause and have a quick look now, so I'm ever so slightly to the right, but it's almost exactly where I'm supposed to be in this sort of corridor heading towards the target. Right, enough navigation. Let's get this aircraft going where it needs to go. Now, the aircraft is starting to shake ever so slightly, because as my speed increases, this aircraft is not designed to go too fast, and the aircraft will get really shaky. So what I will do is I will cut the power down again and try not to get it too shaky. You'll see that when I'm diving, we'll definitely see the shake on that. Okay, so we're coming up to waypoint 4, and when we get to waypoint 4 I'm going to change to air-to-ground mode, and I will also release him. Now he should do his own thing because he's programmed to do it, but what I will back that up with a radio command to tell him to attack the primary mission, and he will then get on with this thing. Now he has got bombs and rockets the same as me, but because of the limits of the mission editor, he can only do sort of attack ground units, or he could potentially just bomb the hangars. He can't do both. So I chose that he could just bomb the ground units, or bomb and rocket the ground units, rather than attack the hangars. So if I want to get the secondary mission, I'm the one that's going to have to be responsible for that. I don't need to turn on anything like my low-light TV or anything like that for this mission. It's all just going to be dumb bombs and dumb rockets. And we're coming up to the target, so we have 4 kilometers to go, well 3 kilometers to go now. And I will climb ever so slightly, well I say ever so slightly, to about 2,000 meters, so quite dramatically. Okay, and we see the arrow is pointing off to the left, the actual waypoint is over here, and we're kind of flying past it. But that will change to waypoint 5 in a second, and if it doesn't, so like there it hasn't, just manually change it to waypoint 5 with the key press, which is next waypoint is what I selected there, and I'm going to start climbing. Now my wingman is going to follow me, so what I'll do is I will bring up the comms menu, wingman 2, engage, primary and rejoin. And like a good wingman, off he goes. He's going to do his thing. Now he has got an inbuilt priority system, which is great, so he will, when he spots it, he will engage the AAA first, and then he'll deal with any ground attack, or sorry, any aircraft, and then he'll go back to the normal ground attack. So hopefully he'll get out the AAA for me. Alright, let's go. So we're about 12 kilometers out. There's the airfield there, and see if you look on my left, whatever that is, nose probe, whatever, I'm just going to point at the target there. So, those hangars there, those 3 white hangars, that's what I'm going to bomb. So I'm going to go to air-to-ground mode, and it's brought up my S5s, which is the rockets. I'm going to use the weapon select button and change to B for bombs. And also what the the SU-25 can do is it can change how many bombs it fires. So I'm going to change to 2 bombs, and I'm going to put 0.1 of a second between them, and I'm basically going to cluster bomb the hangars. So let's cut the power, open the air brakes, going to run on in. LA means I've got launch authority. I'm just going to line the pipper up and pickle, and off we go. Power back on, brakes closed. Okay, looks like we've got good hits on the hangars. Let's have a look. Yep, first 2 hangars, 2 really good hits. I've got 2 bombs left. Nice. So he's dealing with the AA, it would seem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change back to single, and I'm going to set the delay to 0, like so. And we're going to run in, and we're going to get the next one now. I need to look. There was a message, I think, that said about the QRA scrambling. In fact, there he is there. Okay, so while we were climbing up, it did say that he's going. So how much time have we got? He's gone right. Okay, so we've got a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these bombs. Let's see if we can hit the fuel this time. So I'm going to run in. Again, cut the power. Air brakes on. Line up. What I want is the wings to be as level as possible. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a different type of bombing this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cursor, that circle, over it now. Press and hold, and it's actually already launched it. We can maybe have a quick look from outside. Oh, yep, that was a good hit. And we'll get another one. Hang on, power up. Oh, air brakes. Now, was that enough for the secondary mission? We should only have had to kill 2 hangars or 1 fuel. But we'll give it a few seconds to see. Because what it might be is it might just be burning rather than be destroyed, which is tricky. So what I'll do is I'll do another attack on the fuel. Cut the power, air brakes on. I'll try and hit the same fuel. Oh. Pickle. Power back up. Air brakes closed. Okay. Let's see how that goes. So 2 is busy doing his thing. So I think that's a burning AAA, and I think there's supposed to be 1 down here. Yeah, he's a bit long there. Right, where is that? F5. Now he's about to get airborne. Right, what we could do is, if he's on the ground, I don't think that counts as a, you know, if you're going to be an ace, you need 5 in the air. So what I'll do is I'm going to run down a bit. I'll wait till he gets airborne, and then I'm going to be really filthy and just shoot him the second he gets his wheels up. I'm a little bit worried about the AAA. I think that's it there. I think that's it burning. Okay. Let's see. So he's definitely rolling now, so I'm going to go to air-to-air mode. And this is just a unguided sidewinder, like very standard, just point and shoot. He's definitely in the air now. So he's definitely in a critical moment of flight. He's there. I've got tone and launch authority. Let's see what this does. Splash. It's filthy, but we'll take it. That's definitely an air kill. Boom. Great. Right, back to air-to-ground mode, and we're in rockets, so let's deal with the part helicopters, which is our primary mission anyway. Maybe that fuel will cook up, and we'll get the secondary, but maybe not. But what we can do is we can maybe attack one of the hangars with cannons. That might be easier than killing the fuel. It's burning nicely, but it hasn't gone up. That's odd. Okay, well, let's run in anyway. I'm not going to cut the power this time because it's rockets. I like to go in relatively fast. And I'm going to put a couple of rockets on each helicopter. So, rockets, 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 rockets. Boom.
2, rockets away.
There we go. Okay. 2's coming in with his rockets as well. He's doing it some weird way. But that should be enough for the primary mission. There we go, primary mission complete. So it doesn't really matter about the hangars, but let's give it a go anyway. Now those helicopters aren't all destroyed, but they are damaged, and at this point filling them with shrapnel is definitely enough. So I'm going to try for the hangars. Air brakes on. Again, I'm looking at the circle with the dot in it. I'm going to put it over the target and press and hold.
Pull up.
Boom.
Pull
There
up.
we go. Power back
Pull
up.
up. Over G. Over G.
Yep,
Over.
got to be careful here, don't want to wreck my plane. Okay, so I think that is the primary and the secondary mission complete. Yep, that's the secondary mission complete. What I might do is a little strafing run down the helicopter line, just as a way of saying goodbye, and then let's get out of here. And I'll get the wingman to come back up again. Okay, so that's it, primary and secondary complete, and for the last 5 points, as long as we don't die, we'll head back home. Pressing C for cannon, and it's still the weapon release button, it's not the normal trigger. And still looking at that circle, high speed stall. Okay, this is not going to be the best run in ever. But
Running in.
we'll just put some rounds on each of those helicopters and just get some of those to cook up. Here we go. Tap, tap.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
Oh, there's definitely something still shooting down there.
Over G. Over G. Over.
Okay,
over
well,
G.
that's good
over
enough for
G.
me.
Over.
Rockets away.
2's firing his rockets. Let's let him do this attack run then. It's weird that he's going across the
2,
runway.
flares on target.
Yeah, good hits though. Anyway, right, comms menu, wingman, rejoin.
Join up. 2, rejoin.
And we'll go back to air to ground, navigation mode and waypoint 6, which is the next waypoint. And it's off that way, 18 kilometers away. And we'll head on home. And we're way above the scheduled or programmed route, altitude, sorry, but that's fine. Random trucks blowing up. Let's get out of here. How are we doing for fuel? We've still got 1,800 kilos, sorry, 1,580 kilos. And here's that shake, because we're going so fast. So we'll just cut the power. You can see on here, we're definitely above the white line here. We need to cut this down. And we need to be really careful. If I tried to do something now like deploy my flaps or anything, I would destroy my aircraft. Or I'd destroy the flaps at least, which would be a real pain in the butt. We're heading home. What we can do actually is I can jettison the rocket pods. So that's jettison weapons is the key for that one. And we just jettison, and they're gone. I should probably take those back to base. We are a small country with only limited resources, so I'm sure the chief farmer is going to be upset about that. Perfectly usable rocket pods. Okay, we're almost at waypoint 6. That should also change to waypoint 7 because I'm quite close to it. It's swinging around now. So any second. There we go, waypoint 7. Let's bring it around. A waypoint 8 is set at about 10 kilometers finals for the runway. So we've not got very far to go.
Fuel 1500.
Plenty of fuel. 11 kilometers to the next waypoint. We're doing almost 850 kilometers an hour. Not shaking so much this time, you notice, because the rocket pods are gone. We've cleaned the aircraft up a lot more, so we can go a lot faster. In fact, I think that white thing did jump, wasn't it? I think it was about 700 before and it's jumped to 800. So, yeah, we're going pretty fast. Oh, we're way off target here. Again, that green arrow is the one I care about. It should be off to the left. I'll add it in another tutorial, but there's a way you can use that little circle that's bobbing around. That's actually like a navigation aid that you would use to fly in sort of like a tunnel in the air to get you exactly on target. Okay, and then we've got waypoint 8, which is our final waypoint, and we're doing almost 900, or we were doing 900 before I turned, so it's going to take very little time to get there. How far out are we? So we are 30 odd kilometers, so let's talk to air traffic. F5, Belson,
Baseline. Dodge
baseline,
1.
sorry.
Inbound.
Okay, easy comms is on, so he should reply, unless I've maybe taken damage on my comm system. Let's try again. F5, Baseline.
Baseline. Dodge 1. Inbound. Dodge 1.
There we go.
Baseline. Fly heading 173. Fort 13. QFE 717.90. Runway 10 to pattern altitude.
So what he's saying is fly a heading of 173 for 13, so 173 for 13 kilometers, and then that will put me on finals or final. So, and I can duplicate that as well if I change. I'm in en route mode. If I go to navigation mode button and push it again, it's into return mode, and that is positioning me for finals, which is pretty much dead ahead or final. And I was talking about airfield ID being 21, so that bottom right there is pointing me towards airfield 21. If you go to next and previous waypoints, it's going through the different airfields, and they're all set around the caucuses. It depends. Each number it refers to a specific airfield, and those numbers never change per airfield. But 21 is Beslan, so we want that. And what we can do as well is I could actually put this in autopilot mode now, and it will do auto land, which is quite nice. But I'll fly it manually because we have different autopilot modes. I've got a few seconds here, depending on which buttons you push. So I have normal attitude hold, which is what I use most of the time, and then we have attitude and altitude hold, which is very useful. I'll turn that off, and then we have route following mode, which can be very weird because what it's doing, I'll just let it do its thing, is it's trying to get me up to an altitude of 1,524 meters, which is what it thinks we need to be at. But I'll let it do it. There we go, and then it's put me in landing mode, so it's now, I'm not touching the joystick, but it's now trying to get me to 1,580 meters and point to the right heading, and it is, from the inside looks scary, from the outside it's not so bad, but you just need to be ready to take over at any time because it can be quite crazy. The main thing is don't touch the joystick before you've taken the mode off, because if I try and counter the autopilot it will kill me. So I'm hands off now. I'm going to turn this mode off like so, and then I'm back in control of the aircraft. And what it was doing was trying to fly in this tube, this green circle. It was trying to keep me in that and keep me safe. But what I'll do is I'll just fly manually, because we do need to start bleeding off the speed. It controls the heading and the altitude, it doesn't control the speed. So let's bring it round. We're interested in the green arrow here, and we'll just see where the airfield is. I'm guessing it's off to the right. But we've got to bleed that speed off anyway. We're at 10 kilometers. Yeah, so it's down there. You can see the white arrows probably make more sense now. If I was flying straight on the right heading and the right track, then I would be pointing down the runway. But as you can see, I'm not. But what it will do is when I do turn in, it should be both lined up nicely. I'm just doing a big turn like this just to bleed off some speed. Even with the air brakes, it's still going to be a little bit troublesome.
Gear down.
And because
Gear
I'm in
down.
landing mode,
Gear down.
she's going to say gear down.
Gear down.
At about 8 kilometers
Gear
out.
down.
So I'm just going to put the gear down. If you're in any other mode, you won't get that gear down message. But we've got the air brakes. Oh, wingman's right next to me as well. Nice. So we've got air brakes on. Oh, he's decided he's going round. What we'll do is we'll put the flaps down. That beep is the outer marker, and then there'll be some more beeps in a second. That little radio type thing there is the inner marker.
Bezlin, check landing gear. Wind 096 at 5 meters per second. Runway 10.
Okay. I'm going to give him space to land, so I'm going to land on the left of the runway. And I've got a parachute as well, as in a braking parachute. Is he going to come down? Well, I'll let him do his thing. That's the inner marker. And if you look on the top right, I'm not going to zoom in, but the number I'm supposed to be at and the number I'm actually at are quite close. So I'm doing not a bad approach. And just going to cut the power a little bit more. Try and give my wingman as much of the runway as I can. That's the power off. And down. Tap the brakes for a few seconds. Push P for parachute. And that's the braking parachute. Looks like my wingman's gone round. And then if I push P again,
Taxi to parking area.
parachute comes off. Hopefully some ground crew runs out and gets that off the runway. We're a little bumpy. I wonder if I broke something on the landing there. No, the wheels all look good. Okay, let's see where the wingman is. Yeah, he did go round. Fair enough, but he'll be landing in a few seconds, so let's get off the runway. So, do a little bit of braking here so we don't destroy the nose wheel when I try and turn. There we go. I'm just using the rudder for turning on this one. It has a kind of inbuilt nose wheel steering. You don't have to push anything on or off like other aircraft. And we'll pop it back where we found it. And we've still got over 1,000 kilos of fuel, so definitely plenty. If we took a hit and we were leaking fuel, or if we needed to stay a bit longer over the target or got in a dogfight, say if we did let that F5 get airborne, then we would definitely be using a lot more fuel. But it's all good. I'll just pop it back in the middle of the box here. Go. Now you can land anywhere on this dispersal, anywhere down this line, and as long as your speed is like I think it's 1 kilometer an hour or less, it will count. So let's just turn off the engines, open the canopy, quick look at the wingman, or quick look at our plane, see how much damage we've got. Let's get rid of these flaps. They're all intact, which is good. There's a few holes in the tail. It's not too bad. Looks like there's a hole in the wing there. Nope, there's one on the other side, so I guess that's just the way it looks. But yeah, it definitely took some hits to the tail. But looks like we got away with it. And the wingman should be landing any second now as well. Excellent. So that's that mission. That's Airfield Surprise. We're in the SU-25, we got airborne, we all did a bit. Followed the route to the target, did some bombing, fired some rockets. We're a bit scummy and shot an F5 with an aim 9, aim 8 before, just as he got airborne, and then flew home. So I've pushed escape to end the mission and just sort of show you how the scoring system works. So this is the in-game scoring system, and that doesn't really matter for what we care about for the mission. What we care about is the results number, and that's out of 100. And you see on this mission we did score 100% in the end because we got the primary and the secondary, got the QRA aircraft, and we landed safely. If you want to see what you actually did as the player, sorry, just move my microphone here. If we select the initiator and we go to Dodge 1-1, that's the player. That's everything that happened to us, everything that we did. And it tells you we got airborne, well, we started the engines at 1445, airborne at 1448, and we did all of that stuff, all these things in red to do with hits and kills, and so on. And then we landed and shut the engine, well, we landed at 15:15 and shut our engines at 15:17. So all in all, it's about a half an hour mission. If you have any comments or questions, write down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Until then, happy hunting and stay safe.